A very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Hyundai Beach Golf and Resort right here in Busan. We are coming at you live from Gyeonggangun, where it has been a very, very pleasant start to the day. As we can see, of course, we've got a couple of lineups in there, including, the golfers who will be taking part in this, and there's 24 golfers in all. We've got one golfer pitted against the other in a group of, in sections that deem about 12. And, let's not forget that this is the top 24 golfers of the year, and they are vying for one spot. And that, of course, would be who is the topmost golfer, the Queen Bee of the KLPGA this year. So very interesting take. You've got Kim Soo-ji in there. We just saw, Hwang Yoo-min as well. It's all the big golfers. Yoon Ina, of course, leading the rankings in terms of the tournaments played and the points accrued. So Kim Soo-ji, she's on to her 11th hole. Remember, we're looking at, 2 days of play. That's 2 rounds of golf. And it's all being played here at the Mountain Resort in the Hyundai Beach Golf and Resort. Well, it's pretty much the pride of Busan for most travelers who come here to play. Hwang Yoo-min will aim for birdie on hole number 13. She's up against Kim Min-byul. That's just a narrow miss for her. One of the golfers I really like watching, Hwang Yoo-min. Very talented. Very, very, high-spirited young lady. Here's Seo Yoo-jin, who's up against Lee Won. And they are tied. The familiar sight of Yoon Ina, as I've always mentioned, one of the favorites for golf lovers in Korea. She's up against Kim Min-sun 7. Will be going in for a second stroke for hole 9, 150 meters to the hole. It's been an interesting year of golf. We've had 3 golfers, of course, who won 3 events apiece. Lee Won up next. She's up against Seo Yoo-jin. Will aim for birdie on hole number 12. And that's going to be a narrow miss for her. It's an interesting battle when you talk about, how some of these golfers have performed. Lee Won, Park Ji-young, and of course, that one big star that we looked at, Mada Som, who came good. They've all won 3 events in the year. Now here's Kim Min-sun 7. She's up with the second stroke for hole 9, 120 meters to the hole. She's got clear sight of the green. 3 sand bunkers on the left with the approach. And that's fairly well placed. So all said and done, there is a lot to take from this event for both golfers in each group. Now Lee Long-gyun is up against Bang Shin-sil, and Bang Shin-sil will aim for eagle on hole 14. Oh, what a narrow miss, but she can claim a birdie there. Another wonderful golfer, comes out with stellar moments. It's about being consistent, though. Does, dip in performance sometimes during a 3 or 4 day event. Jin will clean it up on hole number 12. Not the most difficult for her. Remember the WEMIX Championship. There's a lot at stake here. It's a matter of pride. You're really playing for who is the best. We just finished off with, the SK Telecom event, which was the last competitive tournament of the year last week. Lee Dong-gyun now. She will putt to win that hole. She's on hole number 14. Fairly strong effort. I think just a bit too much of club on that. That's just pushed it beyond the destination for her. What I do love about the WEMIX Championship, and last year when Lee won, of course, capped off a win, is that golfers are a bit more relaxed here. It's almost like you're playing a competitive leisure game. It's not one of those games where there's too much of stress. Of course, it does get very competitive on day 2, but it still is a bit easier. Yuni Na now. And she just lands herself a Cuban. Lee Dong-gyun aims to birdie on hole 14. Oh, that's well done. Absolutely well done. And this is where she does shine. She almost claimed the SK Telecom Open, but lost in the end to Mada Som. She's another wonderful golfer to watch. And Kim Min-sun 7 will finish with a birdie on hole 9. She'll be happy about her efforts. She's a tall young lady. Does spend a lot of time actually practicing even between events. But once you're on the pro circuit, of course, every event that you make does tend to be pretty much as easy as it comes for you. So it's an interesting battle there. So every event that you make the cut for, that's where you actually tend to shine. And here we have it, the groups put up there, right, showing us till which holes they have already played. A couple of interesting battles that we can get a view of. And if you just look at it, there's, Bang Shin-sil up against Lee Dong-gyun, Wang Yung-min up against Kim Min-byul, Bai So-yoon up against Jeong Yoon-ji, Lee Won up against Seo Yoo-jin, and Kim Soo-ji up against Jun Yi-sung. It's a very, very interesting battle, as we put it. Ro Seung-hui up against Yoo Hyun-jo. Then there's Choi Yu-rim and Jihan Sol who'll battle it out. Mada Som and Lee Ga-young. That's a very, very interesting one. Two very different golfers, bring different styles to the, course. Lee Ji-young and Park Chu-young. Then, of course, there's Park Ji-young and Park Min-ji, two seasoned golfers. And then, of course, Yoon In-na and Kim Min-sun. There's also Park Hyun-kyung and Choi Min-kyung. So interesting to see how this competition really plays out in the end. But more importantly, right now, it's all about who can perform their best and who can really shine in today's event. So it's all happening right here at the Hyundai Beach Golf and Resort in Busan. We are coming at you live from Gyeonggi, Busan, where, of course, the temperature has been fairly easy today. It's been pleasant. I thought it was going to be chilly, but Busan, normally the temperature does tend to be easy. Getting into the December month, that's another story. But as of now, it's about 21 degrees Celsius, and it feels about 20, 21 to be fair. It's a very pleasant day. just partly cloudy skies, as you can see. That blue just marred a little bit to the left by a little bit of gray. Humidity is at about 57%. There's a bit of wind speeds. Started at about 5 kilometers per hour. I think it's up to about 7 kilometers per hour. You can actually tell by the way the leaves flutter in the breeze. The air quality is very good. Most golf courses, keep in mind the fact that you've got so much of green all around. They do tend to, take out most of the impurities, and what you really have is clean, fresh air. It's always one of the reasons why I believe many city areas do have parks in them. Those parks are not just for amusement or to rest, but it also helps to keep, the air clean, green spots like that. So day one match play, as we can see in the WEMIX Championship. Very interesting course. It doesn't really, spread out as huge as some of the other courses that we've seen. But having said that, you've got two parts to it. You've got the ocean side and the mountain course. And it's fairly interesting when these golfers do get out here, because this is also one of those areas where you can get out to just relax. I've got a couple of mates who travel from different countries, Australia, New Zealand, the United States, Netherlands. They actually come down to Busan to play a game every now and then when on vacation. Yuni Na just missing out on a birdie on hole 10. Kim Soo-ji up next. She too did fairly well in the SK Telecom. Had it all to do, but almost threw away her game at the end. Towards the end. Her approach shot just going past the destination. Kim Min-sun 7, and that's a birdie for her on hole 10. She seems to be flying here today. Yun Ina is up against her. They were tied, but Yun Ina will have to better, well, her performance going ahead. And that's just going to curve away from the flagstick. Junhee Sung, she's up against Kim Soo-ji, goes in for her approach shot for hole 12, landing it just a tad bit closer than her counterpart. Park Min-ji will aim for birdie on hole number 9. It's good to see her in action. Wearing earthy colors today. Kim Min-sun 7 will tee off here.
바로 플레이합니다. 멈춰주세요.
Park Ji-young up next will look to finish on par.
Nice play. 그린이
원,
저기서
투 이렇게
나나나
해주는
아
거지.
근데 민지 거 들어가는 거
Yuni Na teeing off for hole number 11. Kim Soo-ji, she'll miss out on a birdie on hole number 12. I don't think she's going to be too worried about that, but keep in mind the fact that when you're up against, there's no groups of three, right? There's just groups of two. And when you're up against a single golfer, I've always said this, and this is something that I learned when I was very young from a seasoned golfer. In golf, you're never participating against your opponent, you're participating against yourself. And because you're not playing against the opponent physically, like in tennis or table tennis or badminton or whatever, it all boils down to how good is your performance against yourself on that day, and that's beautifully done. Well, that ball certainly charmed by her. I do know that she had a few really rough times in the last two events, but it's lovely to see, well, her back in action here today. Chun Yi-sung aims for birdie here. Oh, that is well done. That is well done on hole number 12. And Kim Soo-ji has some tough competition. Yoon Ina now. Beautiful camera shot. If you notice, well, Yoon Ina in focus. The background just a tad bit blurry. Lovely work there by a cameraman. Second stroke for hole number 11, Yoon Ina. And I think that is perfect placement. Absolutely tops from her. Well, she's been the golfer that really, impressed for most part of this year. Her ratio of tournaments participated in against, the points that she accrued has been so good. But left to be seen in this final event whether she can hold her own. And it's 24 for the count. Tomorrow it's going to be an entirely different story when it gets hard. Kim Min-sun 7 up next for hole number 11. 74 meters to the hole. She's got one up against the opponent. And that is Yoon Ina, and she's also had a perfect placement. Oh, she is bringing it today. Kim Min-sun 7. She is certainly bringing it to this contest. Bang Chun-sil with her approach shot for hole number 15 kept it fairly low, and I think that's a very, very good effort from her. Seo Yoo-jin will aim for birdie on hole number 13. Now that's just slipped out. She knows it. It kind of deflected, didn't it? And with a bit of pace on it too. Lee Dong-gyun aiming for birdie on hole 15. Missing it a tad bit. Lee Won will aim for birdie on hole number 13. She's tied with Seo Yujin, and that's just a gentle miss for her. She's going to try and refigure out what it is. Yun Ina aims for birdie on hole number 11. She's one behind. I think she'll be happy with that effort from her. Kim Min-sun 7, and she of course will be tied, but Kim Min-sun 7 also plays that ball beautifully, and if she finishes with the birdie, I think she'll still stay in the lead ahead of Yun Ina. Bang Shin-sil, that's 2 behind Lee Dong-gyun for the time being, and that's a birdie on hole 15. So let's change that to 1 down. Lee Won, what a chance missed here earlier. She's got a tough golfer in her corner with Seo Yujin, who's been performing very well today. And that is, of course, just an impulsive effort. She's going to bogey that one. I don't think she was expecting it. Yun Ina was expected to perform here today, but it's counterpart Kim Min-sun 7 now. And Kim Min-sun 7 will maintain her lead over Yun Ina. Very quickly, let's run you through, well, how things stood. Before we got into this, Yun Ina was at the top of the leaderboard rankings with 12.0655, and that's from ranking points, and that's from 25 events played. Kim Soo-ji was second with Park Ji-young in third. Park Ji-young and Kim Soo-ji have both played 52 events. Lee Won, Hwang Yoo-min, and Park Kim-kyung followed in 4th, 5th, and 6th. And Yoo Hyun-jo has just landed a beautiful well-approached shot. Chun Yi-sung, she's 5 down. She's up against Kim Soo-ji. The 13th hole approach, and lands herself just on the border or the shoulder of the green, just sitting out in the rough. .63 meters to the hole for Kim Min-byul. She's on to hole 15, her second effort. Park Ji-young lands her close to the flagstick. Kim Soo-ji needs to get herself out of a crowded area, and I think she's just about landed herself onto the rough again. Just struggling a little bit with this hole, it looks like. Too much of airmail on that one. We'll send that ball beyond the green. Park Min-ji. Plays there. There's a lot to expect from Hwang Yu-min as well today. But here's a golfer who attained the top spot for the first time this year. Well, that was through the mid and fairly late season. Park Ji-young aims to finish on par, and she'll just bogey the 10th one. So Park Ji-young just going through the motions there. Well, the points really are if you do bogey your shot, it doesn't go into the scoreline, but you just step 1 point behind your counterpart. And that's where you see the 5 up or the 5 down. Kim Soo-ji is, 5, underscore points ahead of Jun Yi-sung. And that's how the contest goes. It's almost like playing snakes and ladders or Monopoly. It's a different equation altogether, and it's fun. Absolutely love it. Most golf fans wait for this event at the end of the year. Nice finish from Yoo Hyun-jo, who birdies the 13th. She's 3 down behind Roh Seung-hui. When you're up against Kim Soo-ji, who's been one of the finest golfers in the last 6 or 7 events, really been shining with them. Very positive golfer as well. Jun Yi-sung has a lot to work towards. She'll miss out on a birdie here, but could clean it up with an even score. Well struck there, and these two are certainly battling it out beautifully. Yoon Ina and Kim Min-sun 7. Meanwhile, at the other end, a golfer that we've been missing for a while, Ji-han Sol. She's up against Choi Yi-rim. She stands 2 points ahead of Choi Yi-rim. Will try and birdie the 8th hole. Oh, well done. Absolutely well done. And that puts her now 3 up behind over Choi Yi-rim. Meanwhile, Yoon Ina gets ready to tee off. And that's, well, for hole 12. She's the number 1 ranked golfer currently. And that's in the WEMIX Championship rankings. She was right up there, while having played the fewest events. Kim Soo-ji just missing out on the opportunity to nail that one. So there's no bogeys and buzzards here. If you finish your, well, quota of on par strokes, Hwang Yu-min, well, just close enough, but not close enough to perfect this time. She'll clean that up easy. But the amount of time that you take to get those, to get the ball in, of course, you do tend to drop points, and we've seen that in the contest. There's a kind of an ease in the air that you see which is fairly good. Next, it's Jenny Sung. Aims to finish on par for hole number 13. She's 5 down. I think she'll be satisfied just to get that done with. Now she's, 4 behind Kim Soo-ji. Kim Min-sun 7 on a second stroke for hole 12, and this approach really does matter. Oh, that's fantastic placement. And she, along with Yoon Ina, have been creating some terrific opportunities for themselves as they move ahead. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the course, it's Bai So-yoon for hole 14. She will aim to birdie it. She's up against Jung Yoon-ji at 2 points ahead. Oh, that was a confident stroke. Just missing out on the target. And all eyes on Yoon Ina and how she performs here today. Much is expected from her. Approach shot for hole 12 also very important. 75 meters to the hole, and I think she's just flown the green. Lee Dong-gyun will aim for birdie on hole number 16. She's one ahead of her competitor Bang Shin-sil. And Lee Dong-gyun, of course, as we said, narrowly missing out on the SK Telecom win. She finished runners-up, and that was just last week. So it's an interesting contest for her as well. Decent enough move there from Lee Dong-gyun. Would have liked to have finished a bit better. Jung Yoon-ji next. She'll have a narrow miss as well. Bang Shin-sil will aim for birdie on hole 16. Let's just let it down a little bit. Yoon now just battling it out. Got a few worries here today, but that's so much of expectations on her shoulders. Seo Yujin. Oh, what an approach shot. What a terrific approach shot from her. Yunina, that's going to lip out. An on-par finish was definitely on the cards for her. Don't think she's going to be too happy about that. And Kim Minson 7. Well, now has moved. She's 2 up. So it's brewing to be a tough battle. And she is up against the favorite of this event, Yun Ina. Meanwhile, Lee Won has to get out of the cat box for hole 14. I would have said, why ever did she get in there? Well, probably just to get a break. She's got herself out of trouble. She'll have to keep it within the navigational beacons to find the target though. Park Ji-young. She's had an interesting year, lots of highs and lows. Just missing out on a birdie on hole 11. Lee Won aiming for birdie there on hole number 14. She just missed out on the opportunity. Park Ji also missing out on the birdie. She's tied there with Park Ji-young. Up next, it's Bang Chun-sil. As she tees off for hole 17, she's up against Lee Dong-gyun and just 1 behind Lee Dong-gyun. Oh, needed to get it just a little bit closer, you would think. And now to tee off. Here's Lee Dong-gyun for hole number 17. She's 1 up over Bang Chun-sil. Gentle push there from Mada Song, who aims for birdie, and she's done well. But she was such a surprise package at the SK Telecom. She won the last 2 events of the year, and she won her first event in September. So she tied with Lee Won and Park Ji-young for 3 events won each. Ro Seung-hui will aim for birdie on hole number 13. She's 2 points ahead of Yoo Hyun-jo. She's done well to keep her points intact. Big smile there from Ro Seung-hui. Well, I'd be smiling too if I was in her place. Park Min-ji. Well, the sun's just popped its face out a bit more, which is why you can see Park Min-ji has got her sunnies on. That's her sunglasses. And that's just going to go past the destination. Her approach shot, a little bit too much of wrist and forearm on that, I would believe. She's Hwang Yoo-min, Park Min-ji, Park Hyun-kyung, such amazing golfers to watch in action. You see them come out, even if they don't win that particular tournament, there's always a few gems they'll produce for it. Lee Dong-gyun aims for birdie on hole 17, 5.4 meters to the hole. And that's going to be a Cuban for her. Jun Yi-sung onto a third stroke for hole 14. Decent enough setup for an underscore finish here for her. Park Hyun-kyung next. That's her approach shot for hole 13. She's up against Choi Min-kyung. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Landed it plumb next to the flagstick. That is a terrific ball stroke from Park Hyun-kyung. Bang Shin-sil aims for birdie on hole 17, 4.4 meters to cover. It's been an interesting year for her too. In many tournaments, she's shown bright on day 1 and day 2, only to find herself struggling a bit on day 3 and then facing huge stumbling blocks on day 4. It's happened to Hwang Yoo-min as well, who almost won one of the recent tournaments. It was the Lotte Open, if I'm not mistaken, when she kind of fell off the grid. Missed her on the SK Telecom. Now here's Choi Min-kyung onto her second stroke for hole 13. She's up against Park Hyun-kyung. And she's just about flown the green a tad bit to land herself onto the rough. Park Ji-young next. Tied with Park Min-ji. She's on to hole 12. Bit of a distance for her, but I think she'll take it. Hwang Yoo-min will tee off for hole number 17. Really driving that. Wanted to gain a good bit of distance on the fairways, and I think that was the intent. Choi Min-kyung is up against Park Hyun-kyung. Gets herself closer to the destination. To wonder what Kim Min-byul will be able to do. She's up against Hwang Yoo-min. Will tee off for hole 17 now. She's going in with a 5-iron. Decently placed there. And that's the exodus that I love watching. You've got a whole amount of fans, family and friends have turned up here. Park Hyun-kyung up next. Remember, she had that beautiful approach shot. Will aim to finish with the birdie here on hole 13. played by Park Hyun Kyung. So she's 5 ahead of her competitor in that duo set. Kim Soo-ji, can she nail an eagle on hole 14? Oh, what a miss! Well, she's missed out on 2 beautiful opportunities here today, and I think she knows that. Chun Yi-sung will go next. Seo Yoo-jin aiming for birdie on hole 15. Well, almost close enough for her. Here's Chun Yi-sung. Remember, she's up against Park Hyun Kyung. Oh, well played. And much needed a birdie here for Chun Yi-sung. Got the wind conditions just looking like it's going to increase a tad bit. I'll leave on. Aims for birdie on hole 15. Needs to take this carefully. And just a narrow miss. Just a narrow miss. Soo-ji also missing out on an opportunity. And it's at times like this that you really want to dig in as deep as you can because you know what starts off as a very easy approach does tend to get a bit more serious and intense as the day progresses. So here we can see the clubhouse, of course, beautiful looking, lovely there with that yellow and purple. And there you have it, who's tied, who's ahead and who's down. Bang Chun-sil is 1 down behind Lee Dong-gyun. Hwang Yung-min is 1 up over Kim Min-byul. Bai So-yoon is 3 up over Jong Yoon-ji. Lee Won is 2 down behind Seo Yoo-jin. Kim Soo-ji is 3 up over Chun Yi-sung. Ryo Seung-wi is 3 up against Hyu Yun-jo. Yoon In-na is 2 down behind Kim Min-sun, and that's 7, and that is a very, very important one. So a few of the golfers, of course, who will finish off you know, their day's efforts here. And they were the ones who started early. I wouldn't exactly call them the dew sweepers, but they did come in a bit later. So stay with us, don't go anywhere as we continue with the WEMIX Championship 2024, which is being played right here at this very beautiful Hyundai Beach Golf and Resort in Busan. It's a relaxed affair, but it will get more intense. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. by Soyun, aiming for birdie on hole number 16. As you can see, the wind speeds are up quite a bit. That dancing flag stick will tell you a little bit. It's over probably about 7 or 8 kilometers per hour. That ball just approaching its destination, but it's going to fall shy of it. Lee Dong-gyun onto her third stroke for hole 18. Very impressive, yeah. Jung Yoon Ji will aim for birdie on hole number 16. Oh, what a narrow miss. I so would have wanted that to land in. Park Min-ji, strong approach shot there. Oh, that's beautifully done. Very well done. Meanwhile, yes, by Soyun, looking to finish on par for hole 16. And that's well done. Now, a lovely little fountain right there in the midst of that lake-like structure. Bai So-yoon and Jung Yoon-ji finish in third and second. It's interesting for them. And there they are. Day one finish. 3 and 2 that we're looking at. Meanwhile, Park Ji-young goes next. Is one up over Park Min-ji. Also a well-placed shot, but Park Min-ji really nails it with this one. Chun Hee-sung. Second stroke for hole 15. Decent enough approach. Lee won. 126 meters to the hole. It's fairly well placed by her to get it onto the green. Kim Soo-ji up next. Kim Soo-ji onto a second stroke. Well, just aiming to pull that fairly close, but I think she shouldn't be, or she won't be too concerned that she's got that just a little bit away from the destination. Park Ji-young will aim for birdie. And she herself can't believe that miss. I can't either. This is one of those strange ones, isn't it? Bangchan Sil will aim for birdie on hole number 18. .5 meters to the hole. So it's fairly close if you ask me from her, and she knows it. Bangchan Sil and Lee Dong-gyun. Lee Dong-gyun finishes 2 up over Bangchan Sil in this event. So here they are, Bangchan Sil and Lee Dong-gyun. Lee Dong-gyun leading the way right through. She's been in great form in these last 5 or 6 tournaments, and missed out on winning the SK Telecom. Lost it to Mada Som, but well, here's Park Min-ji. Will aim for birdie on hole 13. And that's well done. Sigh of relief. Huge sigh of relief there. Lee Won also aiming for birdie for hole 16. She's up against Seo Yoo-jin. That's going to be a Cuban for her. Chun Sung aims for birdie on hole 15. That's narrowly going to miss the target. Same goes for Seo Yoo-jin. Kim Soo-ji will aim for birdie. Hole number 15 to win this match against Chun Sung. She'll have to wait her time. Choi Min-kyung up next. She's up against Park Hyun-kyung. 5 behind Park Hyun-kyung. Oh, lovely approach shot from her. Kim Min-byul. Third stroke on hole 19. Hyun-kyung onto hole 14. Lovely approach from her. She's all smiles today. Park Hyun Kung. It's lovely to see her like that. Because normally she does have a very serious look on her face. Looked very forlorn in the last two competitions, so it's really great to see her back to her usual jovial self. And that's the good thing about the WEMIX Championship, right? You're going to look at the golfers at their best. So Park Hyun Kyung and Choi Min Kyung, and this is how it all panned out. Of course, Park Hyun Kyung way ahead. She's 5 ahead of Choi Min Kyung. So interesting how these matchups against each other will end. Wang Yu-min on to a third stroke. That's for hole 18. She's up against Kim Min-byul. What a beautiful placement. Absolutely beautiful approach shot from her. Challenging times for a few of our golfers here. Kim Min-byul will aim for birdie on hole 18. And that ball definitely afraid of the dark. There's no doubt about it. So that's how we finish off the event here for our two golfers. Remember, they'll be back tomorrow. And Lee Yvonne does well. She's all smiles here. So a few have finished off. That's Bai So Yoon just capping it off over Jong Yoon Ji, Hwang Yu-min capping it off over Kim Min-byul, and Lee Dong-yoon capping it off over Bang Shin-sil. Park Hyun Kyung winning it over Choi Min Kyung. And let's not forget the rest, of course, still have a lot of work to do, having got through just 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15 holes. Lee Won and Seo Yoo-jin, of course, are through 17 holes. So interesting, how this competition pans out, and that's what makes it so different from the regular contest where you have 3 in a group. So the WEMIX Championship continues. A lovely setting against the ocean front. I do love to watch the sea in the distance always, or sitting as a backdrop right behind the course itself, and of course those residential apartments that are there in the distance. Those must be expensive, believe you me. Chun Yi-sung on to approach shot for hole number 16. Kim Soo-ji onto her second stroke for hole 16. A lovely placement from her. And that will earn her an applause for certain. Kim Min-sun. Third stroke for hole 14. And there we go. Lee Won against Siu Jin, Kim Soo-ji against Chun Yi-sung, Ro Seung-hui against Yoo Hyun-jo, Choi Rim against Ji Han-sol, Ma Da-sum against Lee Ga-young, Yoon In-na against Kim Min-sun, Park Ji-young against Park Min-ji, and Lee Ji-young against Park Ju-young. These are the contests that still remain here today, with many having finished just 12, 13, 15, and 17 holes. A few of our golfers, of course, who've trumped and got through, and we'll see them tomorrow. Lee Dong-yoon, Hwang Yu-min, Bai So-yoon, and of course Park Hyun-kyung as well. Yoon In-na aims for birdie on hole 14, and that's just slipped out.
이거
Kim Min-sun, 7, will finish off with a birdie as well, and she's beginning to shine here today. Yoon In-na looking to be in a spot of trouble.
앵글 잡을.
So Kim Soo-ji and Chun Yi-sung will finish off their event. Kim Soo-ji finishes well there against Chun Yi-sung. They were tied in the first and second hole, but she just, shone bright, finishes 4 up there on the 16th hole to win this contest between the two of them. Park Ji-young onto hole 14. Kim Min-sun 7. Well, she has certainly impressed here today. Lee Won on to a third effort for hole 18. She's one down behind So Yujin. She's got to do well here if she has to stay in the contest. She's been wonderful all year long. She's such a lovely golfer to watch. Has this feel, good disposition always. Hwang Yumin carries that girl next door kind of character. Yun Ina, very elegant. She's a pretty girl, has a lot of fans, and what a comeback it's been from her this year. To actually fall from grace and then to earn it back honestly and with hard work. So hats off to her. She's 3 down behind Kim Min-sun 7. Tees off for hole 15. Very important for her, this hole and the next one. Got herself a decent spot on the fairways here, Yun Ina. Park Ji-young aiming for eagle, and what a narrow miss here.
언니 저거 페이했어. 근데 너무 작게 얘기해. 아니.
Park Min-ji aiming for eagle for hole 14.
핀 그냥 도라이.
Well, the battles have been strong here today, but some of them, of course, conceding to, let go. Some, of course, are staying on. Park Min-ji, who's tied with Park Ji-young for hole 14, aims for birdie, and that's a narrow miss. That could be expensive. Oh, that's a lovely shot. Yun Ina, much depends on this 15th hole for her. Just gaining a bit of distance against that target spot for her. I think it's going to be important to see how she can work this out. So there we have it, a few more. Of course, Kim Soo-ji having got the better of Jun Yi-sung. And now it's left to be seen how Yun Ina and Kim Min-sun finish. All eyes on them. Park Ji-young and Park Min-ji, Lee Ji-young and Park Ju-young, Ma Da-som and Lee Ga-young. Well, it's so important to see how these, well, creme de la creme finish off their day's event right here in the WEMIX Championship. Choi Rim and Jihan Sol still in there. Ma Da-som and Lee Ga-young. Well, it's still a tough contest here. And it will continue to be one as we continue through the day. The WEMIX Championship bringing together the top 24 golfers. A beautiful clubhouse. I do love the shade of kind of light cream and purple. I do have a shaving brush handle with that color, which is fairly interesting. Well, there's so much to take from this event, so much in terms of, well, how our golfers have performed. As we get into these final stages of round one or day one, here's Lee Yvonne. She's still one behind Seo Yujin, and that one just a bit too much of club on that, I believe. She needed to finish this with a birdie. She wanted to tie at the end, so Lee Yvonne might dip out of the contest. Here's Ryo Seung-hui. She's 3 ahead of Yoo Hyun Jo on hole 16 right now. Seo Yujin will aim for birdie on hole number 18. Ryo Seung-hui looks to finish on par. Oh, and that's just popped out, hasn't it? It didn't really lip out, but just rebounded a tad bit off the edge. So Ryo Seung-hui, of course, ending her day's event here. And it's interesting to see how this is finished. She was doing fairly well at some point of time, but very quick look at how these two played it out. Ryo Seung-hui, fourth and second. Yoo Hyun Jo, of course, was just 4 behind Ryo Seung-hui. So I think they were only tied at that second hole. A lovely scenic setting of the water in the background. I always used to live in an apartment that for 14 years that it had a similar seafront. I do miss it now. It's just the most calming thing to wake up in the morning and see the water, especially when they're calm. To be able to see the sun, setting, especially on the surface of the water, as you call it when you're a kid. Lee Yvonne looks to finish on par here for hole 18. And that's just going to miss the destination. And it certainly looks like it will be Lee Yvonne. Well, bowing out of the contest here. She's been wonderful right through the year. But you've got to hand it to this young lady for really performing well, as Seo Yujin finishes 2 up over Lee Yvonne to stay alive in the contest for the Queen Bee of the KLPGA 2024. Yes, Park Ji-young, she was Queen Bee for a while. Coming close, but not close enough, I would believe. Kim Min-sun 7 and Yuni now, what a battle it's been, and Kim Min-sun 7 really looking like the favorite here today. Here's Park Min-ji. She's given that a strong wallop. And that's for, hole number 15. Song goes next. And that's the third stroke for hole 14. Her approach shot, 128 meters to the hole. Yun Ina up next. And that's a stylistic finish from her. Yun Ina, well, 2 down there, so she's staying alive in this contest. And she does come up with a surprise as she's the gutsy one, will not give up. Lee Ga-yong, well, we miss seeing her. Third stroke for hole 14. She was very good in the previous contest also. Just fell out at the last minute. Park Min-ji will go for an approach shot for hole 15. So let's remind you that this is the WEMIX Championship. We are coming at you live from the Hyundai Beach Golf and Resort, which is based right here in Gyeonggangun, Busan. And it's in the Gyeonggangun district of Busan. Just about 10 minutes drive from Gyeong Hangyo Confucian School. And it's located about 10 minutes drive from the Busan National Science Museum. That's a beautiful place. Busan is a very, very interesting city. If you ever get a chance to come down, don't forget there's a huge baseball following here too. If you're a baseball fan, you get amazing merchandise. I'm not a fan of the Busan team, but I do have the cap just because it's beautiful. Now, the WEMIX Championship, of course, does concentrate on the long hitters, and it's a long shot war that we're looking at. 43-hole par event to... Sorry, it's a par 4 third hole to 240 meters. That makes it possible for golfers to bring out their best. It has 24 top rankers in the KLPGA. And remember, today and tomorrow are the 2 days it's being played. Most of the attention is focused on what kind of play the golfers will be performing in the third hole. Now, during the practice round, I did get a chance to watch a few of them, and Yunina, Bang Shin-sil and Hwang Yu-min. They shot a tee shot to the area around the green, about 240 meters uphill. They had a great approach shot from a short distance to 20 meters before they lightly birdied it. So here we are looking at those that have made the final round so far. Lee Dong-gyun, Hwang Yu-min, Bai So-yoon, Seo Yoo-jin. And, you know, then in that final B area, Bang Shin-sil, Kim Min-byul, Jung Yoon-ji, Lee Won, Jun Yi-sung, Yoo Hyun-jo, and Choi Min-kyung. Let's not forget it's the A section that will compete for the topmost golfer in the year. Now, the reason why the total length of the third hole, which was 293 meters last year, was brought down to 240 meters is to provide more attraction to the spectators and also for those watching it on the screens. And that's the reason why many golfers had a shot at that, because there's a change in the distance of 240 meters, which means 53 meters shaved off since last year. So some of the golfers, including Lee Won, Park Yoon-kyung and Kim Soo-ji, were happy with the changed composition of the 18 holes. WEMIX, of course, if you didn't know this, is a cryptocurrency that goes to the winner. It's similar to the prize money of the KLPGA Tour tournament, and 24 players on the list are in there. As of yesterday, the 16th WEMIX Championship, which is about 250,000, well, I think cryptocurrency bits. It's about 275.25 million won. Yunina and Kim Min-sun 7 in that single match on day one are such a strong event, and they're both still well in there. So let's see how they perform in today's event. Much of the action will, end here tomorrow at the clubhouse. Bakmanji has her work cut out for her. Aims for birdie on hole 15. Just a narrow miss there. And Park Ji-young just handing her the ball. Kim Min-sun 7, she's on to hole 16. That approach shot for her important. Remember, she's still staying ahead of, Yoon Ina, and Yoon Ina, who was considered to be the favorite for this event, might just find herself out of the contest at the end of this hole, unless she can hold her own, which she did in hole number 15. Park Ji-young will aim for birdie on hole 15. And a narrow miss for her as well. It's quite a battle between two seasoned golfers, Park Min-ji and Park Ji-young. Here's Yoon Ina onto her second stroke for hole 16. Lee Ga-yong narrowly missing out there. Bit of disappointment for her. Park Ji-young will tee off for hole number 16. She's up against Park Min-ji. One ahead of Park Min-ji so far. Nana Song finishes on par for hole 14, and she's just staying in it. The surprise golfer of the year, I would have thought. Well, she definitely is one that came out with an entirely different approach in the way that she played the last few tournaments. Park Min-ji tees off for hole 16 as well. Park Ji-young will aim for birdie on hole number 15. Oh, that's given for her. A bit unfortunate as well. She too was fantastic in the previous tournament. Jihan Sol with her approach for hole 14. Oh, that's beautifully done. Absolutely stunning shot from her. Lee Ji-young. 3 ahead of Park Joo-young here. Will aim to win the match. If she gets a birdie, well, she doesn't. Choi Rim aiming for eagle on hole 14. It's definitely going to be a bit of a worry. Yun Ina will aim for birdie here. Well, decently done, I would believe, but she still needs to pull. Oh, her socks already pulled up, sorry. But Yun Ina, I think, might just be facing an exit from that, well, top A group. Jihan Sol looking for birdie on hole 14. Oh, if something's got to go wrong, it will. And that's just one stubborn ball, isn't it? Kim Min-sun 7. What an event this is turning out to be for her. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much nailed it. She was playing to win this match. And all she needed was a birdie. Well, she certainly played an event here today. So Kim Min-sun, well, finishes top of the heap there, 3 ahead of Yun Ina, which means Yun Ina drops into that B group, while Kim Min-sun will contest, well, the topmost golfer of the year, well, event. It's a very, very different finish. Remember, Yun Ina tied with her all the way for the first 6 holes and then was tied again at the 9th. She also went 1 up in between on the 7th and 8th hole. Unfortunate here for her because Kim Min-sun just pulling it all together in that last 9. Choi Rim doing exceptionally well here. And she's got the fist pump, the power pump.
왼쪽 끝에 엣지 뭐 저쪽으로 간다고 땅 띄워놓고
돌아라 하고 낮게?
아 낮게 그러니까 낮게 이거 돌릴 수 있냐 돌려서 올라간다는 느낌이죠. 뭐 7번도 되고 8번도 되고
근데 이거 9번 낮게 치면 닿을 것 같아.
9번은 조금 8번이나 7번으로 엣지 전까지 막 돌려서 그 주변에서 올라가면 땡큐 아니면 어떨지? 이거 왼쪽 보고 띄워서 이거 너무 편하게 가는 것은 아니냐 굴러가는 거. 나는 지금 시간 선택된 동영상을 낮게 돌려보고 있어.
120, 엣지 100.
어.
Park Ji-young Interesting year for her. Second stroke for hole 16. She's one up over Park Min-ji. She's had a very, very interesting year. She won her first event, that was the Medhill Hankook Ibo Championship on the 14th of April. Then she won the Hanwha Championship on the 25th of August. And she really was riding the crest of success at that point of time. And let's not forget, on the 5th of May was also the Kyochon 1991 Ladies Open. So there was 3 events that Park Ji-young pulled off a win in. As far as Lee Won and of course Mara Som are concerned, they too had 3 wins apiece. So very, very interesting played out. So there's still a lot of action left in the WEMIX Championship. Keep in mind the fact that we had a very, very interesting 2024 season in the KLPGA. We saw some golfers come out of the woodwork. We saw some, of course, shine bright, some with expected results, and some, of course, who came out with big surprises for us. The WEMIX Championship, just giving you a view of what to expect. We are back to Park Ji-young, who's onto her third stroke for hole 16, looking to cap it off over Park Min-ji. A lovely, lovely placement from her. Park Min-ji aiming for birdie on hole number 16. Oh, she so needed this. She so needed this. Up against Park Ji-young. And just a quick chat there from Park Min-ji. And Park Ji-young was saying, play on, my friend, play on. Lee Ga-young aiming for birdie on hole 19. And that's going to be a Cuban for her as well. Lee Ji-young, second stroke for hole 16. Well struck by her. Mada Som just narrowly missing out and nailing a birdie here. Definitely something in the air for Park Ji-young. She tees off for hole 17. She's up against Park Min-ji. She's just one up over Park Min-ji.
아, 가야 돼. 넘어갔어요?
아, 가봐요. 넘어갔다.
뒷땅 10cm 친 것 같은데.
And this is where, you know, golfers do have to bring about their best. This is where they need to shine. And even though they are pitted against, you know, each other, it always boils down to, well, what exactly you can do against your own performance. Well struck there by Park Min-ji. Let's see how far she managed to find herself. And that's straight onto the green, onto the carpet itself.
잘친 것 같아.
Not a bad effort at all, you would believe. And she's got a child celebration there. Well done. Well, that's what really makes it so interesting when you're watching an event like this. Park Ji-young next. Aims for birdie on hole 16. Remember, she had that wonderful approach. And that ball's definitely a fade of the duck. But she will find a way through. She will find her way through. There's no doubt about it. So that's going to be a decent enough finish. And well, a victory celebration there with the arms raised in the air, coming from Lee Ji-young, who finished 4 up against Park Ju-young. Very, very interesting finish. They were tied all the way from hole number 2 to hole number 6, and then of course Lee Ji-young that keeping that lead to get into the A spot. And two good friends here as they finish off their events, Choi Yu-rim and Jihan Sol. Jihan Sol, of course, finishing 4 ahead of Choi Yu-rim. Park Ji-young, second stroke for hole 17. Lee Ga-young onto her second stroke. She's 3 up there. Park Min-ji needed to get a birdie there on hole number 17. Mada Som on the second stroke for hole 16. Park Ji-young needs to putt to tie here for hole 17. And what a miss! What a miss there. So Park Ji-young and Park Min-ji really taking this contest to the wire, if you ask me. It's been quite an event for them. Once again, a beautiful view of the clubhouse. I do love the color purple. I do love the film by that name as well. So here we have the final A. Just 2 spots left to be filled in. Lee Dong-gyun, Hwang Yu-min, Bai So-yoon, Seo Yu-jin, Kim Soo-ji, Ro Seung-wi, Ji-han Sol, Lee Ji-young, Park Hyun-kyung. And for the final B, of course, unfortunately, Yoon In-ah setting herself in there along with some of the big players like Lee Won, Park Chu-young and Bang Chun-sil. So very, very interesting contest as we look to finish off the year's event.
힘줘서. 힘들어. 티셔츠.
고속수로 굳이 볼 필요 없고. 응? 응?
벙커 빠지더라고.
진짜?
안 빠지겠지 하고 거기가.
플레이하겠습니다. 멈춰주세요. 하트 멈춰주세요.
Parkman G with her approach shot for hole 18. Now keep in mind the fact that she's tied with Park Ji Young, and this has been the strongest or the tightest battle of the day between two golfers.
벙커 우측 끝 방향이라는.
그 정도 그래도 나쁘지 않아. 거기도 괜찮아. 거기 50도.
Park Ji Young to go next, and her approach shot also, well, depends on how she can, well, bring it here in this contest. Mara Som aiming for birdie on hole 16. She's 3 behind Lee Ga-yong, and it's very important for her to nail this one. One of the big players in the event might also be out of the contest otherwise. Close, but not as close enough as she would have liked to have got. I think that's going to be another finish there that we've looked at as Mada Som, well, bows out to Lee Ga-yong. Lee Ga-yong finishing, well, 3 ahead of her. They were only tied on that first hole, so Lee Ga-yong also making the cut now for that A team, as we'll call it.
그러면은 애 아빠랑. 아니? 지금은 아빠랑. 근데 7번이라 70거든? 30이냐 이거. 근데 너 약간 힘들지? 7번 꺼내서. 7번은 아닌데? 잡고 쳐도 돼? 사람아.
Here's Parkman G. We spoke about that battle brewing between these two. She's tied. Oh, what an approach shot. What a fine approach shot from Parkman G. And that smile on the face should say it all. Oh, that is a stunning effort from her. Absolutely stunning effort. Park Ji-young. That's the third stroke for hole 18, 82 meters to the hole. And talk about matching a counterpart. Good effort from Park Ji-young, but Park Min-ji now so close to the finish, and it's all left to her to do. Well, whoever believed that this was going to be a tough contest between these two, you got it absolutely right. Park Min-ji and Park Ji-young really defining what a contest should be in the WEMIX Championship. Picture here for both golfers as they take it forward. I really enjoyed the battle between these two. It's been a friendly battle. It's been an intense one. And our spot, of course, does await. Our spot does await the winner of this battle.
그 라인이 딱 좋고.
Park Ji-young. This stroke could make or break her efforts here. And that's why she's going to take her own time to get through it. You cannot afford to be impulsive. The slightest bit of impulse could change everything. Fourth stroke on hole 18. Oh, and that is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Park Ji-young as she finishes with a birdie. bit conversation between the two. And that looks to be a tied finish.
어디가? 어디서 타고 가요? 8번으로 다시 연락.
So tied through 18th. Park Ji-young will just letting Park Min-ji ignore that last stroke because she knew she was going to birdie it. What a finish. And two really graceful, amazing golfers. I do love them very much. Fantastic the way they've gone about their business. This has been a contest. And Park Min-ji and Park Ji-young, we're going to see them tomorrow. So they are going to be there, in that, tied list. It's going to be interesting to see, how they perform. Right now, of course, we've got one spot still left to be filled in. So here we have it, the rest of the list as we see it, the final A list, the final B list, and then you've got a tied finish in there as well for Park Ji-young and Park Min-ji. And they do have to play it out. So it's back to the first hole. Park Min-ji versus Park Ji-young. And that is the extra hole, hole number 19. Park Min-ji just getting herself into a bit of the rough.
자, 뒤에 움직이지 마시고 핸드폰 소리 안 들리게 해주세요.
Park Ji-young will go next. Still waiting to fill in that one spot. Were you expecting a tiebreaker in today's event? Well, I certainly wasn't, but I'm happy to see one here. Well struck. And also getting herself, onto the rock, Park Ji-young.
방송 우리 둘만 나올 거야. 승현이랑 셋이.
홍보 효과는 제대로네.
언니 골프는 왜요?
Interesting times here for these two golfers. And there we see the Exodus moving right behind them. We really weren't expecting to see a tiebreaker today. Probably tomorrow. But the very fact that you've seen one here today, I think it's interesting. That's what really defines, a contest like this. Let's remind you once again, just in case you did join us a bit late, this is, of course, the WEMIX Championship 2024 of the KLPGA, and it's being played right here at the Hyundai Beach Golf and Resort. We are coming at you live from Gyeonggi, Busan. It's just about a 10-minute drive from the Busan National Science Museum or from the Gyeonggi Hyongdo Confucian School. Those are two landmarks. It's been an interesting day for us as we've seen, most of the golfers get into that A list, and then, of course, their competitors get into the B list. And the A list, of course, will define the contest for who will be the topmost female golfer of the year in Korea. So Park Min-ji and Park Ji-young lead that entire exodus as they look to finish off, and there's just one berth or one spot vacant in that A team right now. My name is Glenn Mascarenas. I was with you for the previous SK Telecom Championship, and really happy to be a part of this to close out the golf activities of the year. Was very, very fortunate and honored to close out the KLPGA event, competitive events of the year. But this one is for individual glory. So Park Ji-young and Park Min-ji both have to get off the rough and onto the green. This approach shot, very, very important. Remember, on hole 18, Park Min-ji really performed beautifully to create one for herself.
거기서 해볼까요?
안 되세요.
Nicely struck there by Park Ji-young. Beautiful approach shot from her. Park Min-ji will go next. On to her second stroke, her approach for hole 19. And that could just be her undoing. Park Min-ji landing herself in the cat box. Oh, that's just, well, unfortunate here. Just couldn't get behind that shot entirely, and I think that that's been a bit of a worry for her. Park Ji-young had such a lovely placement with her approach. Bit of a chilly dip there for her, and I think that that's what could have been the problem. So Park Min-ji going through the motions here. So very, very interesting turn of events here. Park Min-ji getting out of the cat box, but Park Ji-young, well, so close to her destination. And this could be a make or break, because if Park Min-ji, well, fails to make the cut here, it could change things around for her. And that's just missed the destination. So that could be it here. Bakmanji will concede here. But what a nice event it's been between these two. And Park Ji-young makes that final spot available in the A team. It's been a great year for her to have ascended the number one ranking for the first time during the mid-season and towards the latter part as well. And I think it's a fine finish here. Bakmanji putting on a great show as usual. Always a fight from her. And there we have, of course, well, the final finishers of the day's event. Interesting, very interesting. And I do hope you've enjoyed the contest, especially between these two, both, to be honest, wearing very earthy colors, for the event. And what a similar performance it's been from them. So there you have the final A list that is out for today, and it's been a superb 1 year. And that's the B list. Well, as you can see, Yoon Ina, the favorite, dropping out into that along with Park Min-ji, and also very, very surprisingly, Mada Som. We did expect her to make the grid. So it's going to be a very interesting battle as we get into the event for tomorrow. It will be quite something to watch how, all these golfers will have finished off. So there you have it, the 24 golfers who made, the appearance here today, the top 24 in the year. And the hot favorite, of course, Yoon In, dropping out. Lee Dong-gyun is still in there, along with Kim Soo-ji, Lee Ji-young, Park Hyun-kyung, and Hwang Yu-min. A few of the golfers, of course, who did not win an event this year are also in there. So, a very interesting battle. And the WEMIX Championship, of course, we're going to give you a quick look at the highlights itself. Right there on the first hole. And that was beautifully done there by Hwang Yu-min. And then on the sixth hole, Hwang Yu-min once again really shining. Put on a great show here today. And she was right up there with some of the best performances. And those birdies kept coming. There was Lee Dong-gyun, who performed really well. And Park Hyun-kyung also had her share of the spotlight. And what a lovely finish that was. And on the 14th hole, well, she had to come good again. Park Hyun-kyung needed to get out of the cat box and did that beautifully. She was very good today. Kind of made up for those two tournaments that went by where she had very challenging moments. Then on the 15th hole, Yoon Ina with that swashbuckling birdie. Did it style, and she was actually, going hammer and tongs ahead of Kim Min-sun 7, but just fell out later on. Then on the 16th hole, Kim Min-sun 7. This is where she came good. She needed to finish off. She had turn of that ball at the right moment. Also on the 15th hole there, Jihan Sol. Her approach shot 9 meters to the hole. And landed one beautifully. One of the best today, no doubt about it. And then on the 18th hole, it was Parkman G back again. And she did extremely well. Terrific effort from Parkman G. And then Park Ji-young. She needed to finish with a birdie to stay alive in this contest on the 18th hole, and that was perfection from her. That push tee went into a tie, and she of course very readily said, let's take the tie rather than Parkman G have to finish it off, because she knew she would nail a birdie from that distance. Very graceful on the part of Park Ji-young. And that's when they moved into playing out the tie. That's real competition from them. And this was the best contest of the day between these two golfers. And it was here on that approach shot. Needed to find herself a good spot. And it was done beautifully. Park Ji-young got herself into a very good spot, unfortunately. And then getting out of it, it was going to be even. She put herself at a distance from the flagstick and literally, with that last stroke, exited the A team to fall into the B team category. That birdie would have nailed it for her. So here, the Hyundai Beach Resort, the WEMIX Championship 2024, day one gets over. We've got a few surprises in there, a few winners who will be contesting the Queen Bee spot tomorrow, and we do hope you'll join us then. My name is Glenn Mascarenas. It's time for us to shut shop and ship out of here, but I'll be back with you tomorrow to find out who finishes Queen of the Hill in this event. Till then, take care and bye-bye for now.